So let's touch on the acquisition with Harris Computers. I mean, when did Harris Corporation? When did that come about? And what do they bring to the table in terms of added value to OneFile, to its customers, to the staff? What has been the changes since the acquisition, if any, and your role between the managing director and the EVP, executive, vice president role? So there's a few things there.
There is a few things
there.
So again, taking this back to Susanna, who'd built the company up over the last sort of 18 years. So the acquisition was actually just over 2 years ago. And Susanna had never taken any funding. She'd self-funded the whole business all that time. And actually, she wanted for the first time to get some investment in order to be able to expand the business. But going through that process, I think she realised that she didn't feel comfortable with the kind of PE landscape and the expectations of PE firms in return for that investment. And so actually she pulled out of that process, which was a very brave thing to do.
So
and
PE, just for people that may not...
Private equity.
Private equity.
Yes, where typically the demands are such that there's a return that organisation wants on its investment. And often there are very aggressive growth expectations and quite aggressive cost control expectations. And nothing really should stand in the way of that. And that was the piece, I think, that Susanna felt very uncomfortable about.
So that was non-negotiable for her, really?
Exactly.
Okay.
This was her baby. Yeah. And it was really important that baby, in its growth, in its becoming an adult, in its maturity, needed a safe pair of hands. So her decision, she was approached by Harris shortly after that, not for investment, but actually to buy the business. And she felt very comfortable in going through that process with Harris. And so at the time that the acquisition happened, she then decided to step back from the business, to move out of the business completely. And lucky for me, she asked me if I would be willing to step up and take that role, because I was the Chief Revenue Officer up until that point. Okay. To begin with, I was, to be honest, skeptical, because I didn't really know who this Harris organisation was. I didn't really understand what the benefits were. I didn't really understand what any impact there might be on the business. And actually, when I took on the role, the entire senior leadership team that was in situ at the time left. And so I essentially had to build a new senior leadership team from scratch. I promoted a few people, and I brought in some people from outside the organisation, and built the team from there.
Canny Conversation Podcast Series 5 by Safaraz Ali.